There was a time I was at my friend's place, and just like a friend, an area sister of mine, and then she was asking me that. I think we are actually talking about my divorce journey, and then she was like, "Now, wow, all these guys said it is making me single lady so scared that is there a kind of list that somebody can even go through to choose a man? Because all these things that these guys are just doing, all the stories we are just hearing back and forth, is making us scared. And is there a kind of list? I was like, well, there can be a kind of list. But at the same time, you see, marriage is a kind of thing that even if you go through all this list, you are able to go through some things that you want your man to be like, and you try to be cautious of the whole situation. It gets to a point whereby you'll be asking yourself and questioning your decisions that is it not enough that I actually went through this list and why is this still happening to me? That is because after you might have gone through this thing, there is something called intimacy and union. You see that intimacy and union has to do with the understanding from both parties that both of us are willing to make this thing work. And if one party is defaulting and the other is not, then there's going to be a problem. But the best of it is that when both of you come to agreement, you've come to terms, both of you should be willing to make it work for as long as it takes and be willing to put in the effort regardless of your situation. And I think that is the major thing you should be looking for. But to influence the decision or the thought of asking if there is a list, I decided to come up with this video that is marriage checklist. And I think I mentioned it someday, one of my early videos, that I'm going to be making some videos on marriage checklist. And I've been able to divide this checklist into two in terms of financial, spiritual, mental, emotional, all those now sections. And the other aspect has to now be with a kind of general concept about life. Because when your marriage sometimes can fit in this general life concept and not fitting into this financial, mental, and the likes of things. So I'm going to be dividing the video into two sections. The first one, which I'm going to be talking about today, is going to be dealing with this share. I don't know how to actually categorize the division, but I think it's going to be about that. And in my next video, I'm going to be sharing with you about general life concepts and a kind of general life checklist you should be having about marriage. I think the first thing that should come first, as for me, when it comes to marriage checklist, is to have a financial checklist. And when I say financial checklist, you see, you see this money of it thing. It's very important too. I mentioned in one of my video mistakes single ladies make, especially Muslim ladies, that they choose religion over emotions and money and the likes of them. You see, when it comes to finances, if finances is out of the problem in the world of today, there will be lesser problem to address. I'm telling you. If finances is out of the problem in the world, in the society, there will be lesser problem to address. Because this finances influences most of the decisions we make. Now, when we say financial checklist, what are the things you need to take note of under the finances? What is a stream of income about? What kind of career does it pursue? What kind of family background in terms of finances is it coming from? How does it spend? How does it save? How does it invest? When it sees money, what does it do with it? Last year, what was his financial history about? Year before, next year, what is his financial projection about? Is it giving you enough? Or is telling you to reduce your expenses? Is it influences your decision in terms of finances? Or is backbiting your decision when it comes to you saving and investing? Is it relying on his salary or is relying on other streams of income? Is it creating multiple streams of income from one? Or is telling you that having one single business is enough? All these things about money and finances. When it comes to getting educated about finances, is he willing to spend to get financial education? What is his ground in terms of finances? You see, having a guy that spends on things that are most valuable, a guy that gathers assets rather than liability, I think is a promising person. But at the same time, a guy that invests his savings is even more promising than that. And at the same time, a guy that does not see the need of you having a financial projection is going to be a barrier to your growth. So, ladies, when you're choosing husband, I think you need to work on the financial checklist. You need to ask a series of questions. When we begin to have children, how are we going to manage? How many children can you nurture? Not that after a while you now start telling me to start bringing a percentage of my own salary. I know the time I'm supposed to come in financially. You're not supposed to dictate to me when I'm supposed to, because I already know, I've already studied the situation, and I know what is at stake here. How many children are you going to be having? Is it the type that is calculating financially how to nurture them? At the beginning of the year, what are going to be your targets, your goal? How do you spend your money? Even money that comes in unexpectedly, what do you have to do with it? How do you project your finances to make sure it multiplies? Is it the type that spend aggressively? Though most men, some guys actually spend aggressively, but some, when they have somebody beside them that is actually telling them to maintain a kind of level and standards. I think I've met a couple of guys like that. That when you tell them that you should do this, do that, they actually abide. But there are some men, they feel it is so intimidating for everyone to start dictating to them on what to do with their money. So financial checklist, you need to make sure that is one thing you guys discuss. And eventually, after a few years, how do you want to plan on retirement, your future, the houses you want to build? Is it the type that has this financial projection about how life should be? Or not the person that just lives in fantasy, somebody that lives in reality, financial realities. Or not the person that is expecting that 1,000 naira should now turn to 1 million within a blink of an eye. And I think the second thing that I will actually put in terms of marriage checklist, well, this might not actually be in a particular order, but I think you can just make do with it whichever way you're comfortable with. The second thing should be the spiritual checklist. You know, I've watched a lot of single ladies and a lot of married women complain about their husband or their husband to be not being spiritually grounded. They complain that they hardly pray. Even they always complain about work, that work does not allow them, that being the woman, she has to be the one that will keep praying for the home and the likes of them. Then I was asking, okay, when you're supposed to be praying, what happens during Ramadan? Do you pray as much? She said no, that my ex will tell me that, or my husband will tell me that I'm supposed to be in the kitchen cooking, that that's enough is but I should be using my mind to pray. And I said, you are deceiving yourself. When it comes to spirituality, it is not a female thing alone. It is both gender thing. Both of you should be willing to put in the very work. Sometimes the female might be spiritually grounded than the male, and sometimes the male can be spiritually grounded than the female. But both of you has to find your balance. Okay, now let's say one issue now comes, you're expecting me to be going to church up and down looking for solution. You will be there sleeping and relaxing while me I'm starving myself, preparing myself of eating. No, this guy, if he's a Muslim, he has to practice the deen. Is he praying? I'm not talking about beard gang here. Because some people, when we see beard, we are out of this world already. When we see dressing, smelling, no, fine. But what are those things being a Muslim brother? How it should be? He should observe his salah. We have five pillars of Islam: Iman, which is the faith; Salat, prayer; Zakat, charity; Ramadan, fasting, agri. Is it the type that has those five things at the back of his mind and is working towards everything? Does he give charity? Does he give sadaqah? How does he act during Ramadan? Is it not Ramadan that it shows kindness? What are the things he is entailing? Every day is dressing, the spirituality. Can you actually sense a kind of spirituality from this guy? Or there are some people that actually overdo the whole thing. When something happens, they coin it into spirituality and not believing. I think I'm going to be getting into that. That is the mental and societal checklist after this. Some they just think that when anything happens, it's just about the spiritual. Or some people, when something spiritual happens, they think it is just about normal lifestyle. This thing has to be balanced. You can't be the only one practicing din, and your husband will be there sleeping. Off for tahajjud, no. Give sadaqah, no. Ramadan, no. And he's a Muslim. Muslim as how? You have to be able to balance this. If the guy is not matching up or even above you, because you are willing to learn as well, if he's not matching up or he's not above you, then it shows that both of you are not going to make a good relationship. And I think the third thing here is mental checklist. Mental checklist, I think at this point you need to go down to his family history, because sometimes you see this our husband, so sometimes their family usually influence a lot of things when it comes to mental and emotion. The mental is how does he think? Is he a narcissist? Is it the type that is a chameleon? You know, like my ex-husband, I can call him a chameleon because when people are coming, he only projects to you what you want to see in him. And eventually, when you people leave, he's going to be exhibiting his character. And when those that have seen him project different character, when they come to you, they'll be like, he has shown this character trait, and you are telling us something different, but because he has shown them what they wanted to see, not his true color. A chameleon will always show the color of whatever it comes closer to and pretend and act as if it's that thing. And when it eventually steps away, it acts like other thing else. How does he think? When you talk to him with a very calm voice, how does he respond? Some guys are so poor when it comes to communicating. They nag, they complain, they shout, they abuse, they have intolerance behavior. There can be so many things when it comes to their mental. Some guys can even be crazy just because you tell them you are not in the mood to have anything with them for 2, 3 days, and they'll be like, you are depriving them of their right of being a man. This man, you need to be able to check if he's the type of person that reasons and resonates at a high level IQ. Some guys are just boys, and marriage is not meant for boys. It's not meant for children. It is meant for adults. It's meant for men. I mean, real men that knows how to treat a woman and make a woman feel safe under his influence. His mental health. How does he think? How does he relate with people? When you advise him about something, instead of him trashing away your thoughts, does he see it as something valuable? Even if he's not using the advice 100%, he's using it up to 30, 40, 50%, and you'll be like, wow, I think he appreciates what I've said to him. Not the person that is always, ridiculing your thoughts, chanting your emotions, and disregarding your ideas, and seeing you as if you're not even happy. Some guys, some men, will see women as if they are just like my ex would tell me that women are just for fun. And I stood up to him that day and said, women are the reason why you exist in the first place. If a woman does not bet you, you will not be here standing and telling me that because we bet you, you should give us some level of respect. And me personally, I would not stand here in this house listening to all these things you have to say about me because I believe I am meant for more and my life is not just circled around your life. And that was it. Not a guy that questions your life. How is his mentals? How does he think? How does he respond? Is he the type of person that is mama's boy? Any small thing he runs down to his mommy or his sister? Or is somebody that when you give him 100,000, you don't know what to do with it? Or when you give him 500, that just want to live in fantasy, he's not even living in reality. And I think the next thing that has to come in is the emotional checklist. The emotional checklist has to do with his emotion. There are lots of men out there that are not emotionally available, and they are the ones that need the emotional concern most. My ex-husband can go days in the house not talking to you. He's that type of person. He can go days and weeks. He will starve you in the house and not feeling any bad. He does not feel guilty about anything. That's it. And I was able to realize that the more I try to at least call him into order and at least tell him my own perspective on this and how I feel, he will throw it and rub it at my face as if I'm talking out of it. I'm referring to him in a manner that it shouldn't be, and I'm not supposed to confront him that way. How is his emotions? Is it the type that checks on you 2, 3, 4 hours? Or the person that whenever you're receiving call in his presence, you're always like, who are you talking to? Let me see the contact. Or the person that is always scrutinizing your phone back and forth and you don't even know the password of his phone. Or the person that will tell you that he needs phone, borrow me your phone. You be using small phone. After a while, you get your own. Or he doesn't even mix up with his plans and his promises. Is his emotion unstable? Is it double dating? How does he see you whenever you're on your menstrual flow? How does he see you after the birth of a child or 2 children? How does he see you whenever you are intense or you have some things you really want to talk about that has to do with maturity? Is he willing? Is he open? Does he have listening ears? Some guys are so unavailable to the point that if their wife is feeling sick on their diagnosis, they wouldn't know. My ex-husband has actually done that to me. I was battling with high blood pressure. I was using drugs, some medications, going back and forth, and it just shows that sign of not caring at all. Some men are so like that and they are so comfortable. Men can live with women they don't even love at all for years and have the woman give birth to them while they have their own juicy lifestyle out there. So you as a woman, you want to give your marriage whatever it takes and you want to give it to her as the man of the house. But mind you, my sis, is he emotionally available? What are his emotional checklists? Does he say yes to your no or he says no to your yes? And is this no every time or once in a while? Does he have reasons to tell you to do something? Is the one that is always confrontation and just wants you to stick and abide by his rules and standards? And I think the next thing that has to come here is the societal checklist. And I think this societal checklist has to do with a man that is always running for the society. He's always the one that is always on the side of what society has to say. For example, now some guys will come to you that my mom said that as the woman you shouldn't be attending too much party because she does not like attending party and she thinks it's no good. Though it is the family that is talking, but that is still the society. Because why would your man come home or your guy tell you that his mom said, or his dad said, or because he heard somebody said, you shouldn't be doing something of such? What if that thing is not working in your own house? What if that thing is not working for you? Is it the type that always follows societal norms and standards? As a woman, you shouldn't be talking much in society. Says who? As a woman, you shouldn't be standing in front of people and talking. Says who? Then that is you, not me. That is some women, if they're comfortable with that. But as for me, I'm a career woman, I'm career driven, and I can continue to change and impact the life of thousands and billions of people as much as I have life in me. Is it the type that will tell you, as a woman, you're not supposed to go there. You're supposed to go to work and come back around 4, 5. That's enough. Then you cook in the house. Do you have to attend party? No, it should be in your house. Do you have to go to work? No, no. The guys that is always pinpointing what society has to say. They said this woman, she's exposing her body, it's too much. She's a married woman. She's dressing like this. She's not nurturing the children like this. She's supposed to do this. Is that the type of man you want to marry? Or the person that when you go to him, you tell him, out of your hard earned money, you were able to buy a new phone. And it's like, when me, I'm using this type of phone. Why don't you buckle up and work harder? Am I the one that's supposed to get you phone? No, excuse me. On the contrary, am I the one that's supposed to get you phone? Normally, you should be the one to buy me phone, but I've been able to work my ass off to get money and get myself. So, what is the complaint about? My extent, this phone I'm currently using to record now, before I could get it, I actually saved for close to 10 months before I could get it. And when I got the phone, it was so bitter because it was thinking, why will I go and get food? That is what I did. You could not buy me food. We've had lots of arguments about it. So just to be off your shoulder and asking you for money for food, I decided to go and get food for myself out of my own hard-earned money. And it was saying that I could have used the money for phone to cater for the family. Why? Why should I always be the one to let go of whatever I want just to be able to cater for the family? That is because that's the best way to do it as a woman. Don't even go there. Don't tell me that as a woman. As a woman, does that mean I don't have a life? I don't have a purpose? No. So this is not about being religiously based. It's about the normal thing and the things that will definitely help your marriage work. And I think the next thing, which I'm going to mention, which is going to be the last, is physical checklist. Be the man you want to settle with. How does it dress? What does it look like? Is it the person that is always? I'm not talking about this person that is full of himself when it comes to nurturing the body. I'm talking about somebody that takes care of himself to the barest minimum. He bath regularly. He might not be the type that rubs cream, but his skin and his appearance is justifying the intention. Somebody you can go to place with, not the person that is so ugly, that hardly bath his hair, that hardly uses roll on, that smells here and there, or that he forces to the bathroom, that does not brush. These are tiny routines that eventually affect marriage at the end of the day. That your husband will wake up in the midnight, you can't even move closer to because of his bath breath or because of his body breath that he hardly takes care of his body, or the type that will leave clothes in the house for weeks, days without washing, or will be in the room without sweeping for weeks, days, or cannot even help you in the kitchen when needs, or cannot even help you with the children. The physical attributes of this guy. When you look at this person from a picture, what can you say about him? Do you actually see him as somebody you can actually go to places with? Do you see him as somebody that in the future you will be able to establish some protocols that will actually reflect on your life positively? So these are the things I feel we should actually check when it comes to our marriage checklist. A marriage checklist is not just about going to the place to go and choose a man. It is about you understanding that the things you want to see in your man are going to create a long-lasting effect. People change, that is one major factor. But that change might not be coming from you. Don't think you're going to change a man when you get married to him. That's one thing we ladies usually get wrong. We think, I will change it. It will not change. Oh. You see this him that you are seeing now, if you are comfortable with it, fine. If you try to probably talk, he is showing any sign of, and he does not show anything, my dear sister, just walk away. I think this is just going to be the foundation of the marriage checklist I want to share. And in my next video, I'm going to be sharing with you some general marriage checklist I think we single ladies should work on before we decided to say yes to the guy. Until I see you in my next one. Bye.